Okay. What's going on, good people? How we doing? Let me get my camera set up right, man. I wasn't even ready to go live today. A lot of things happened, man. A lot of things happened today that were unexpected. I didn't expect the reaction that I received today with all of this John Harbaugh stuff, and I put out some videos myself prior to knowing how everybody else felt about it. But before I get started, let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the visual is good. Just give me a thumbs up in the comment section, man. Give me a thumbs up. Um, it's definitely going to be a little bit of ranting in this one. I feel disrespected as a Giants fan that some people just don't know how to let things go, man. And we got some news today with Malik Neighbors as well. And camp started for the rookies report today. But yeah, man, and we're gonna get started in just a moment too, man. But shout out to the 30 people already signed in, man. Make sure you hit the like button on the way and let the algorithm know we in the building. And then the algorithm will let other Giants fans know that we are in the building. So, man, yeah, shout out to everybody. Let me do a quick roll call. Man, OKC Donald in the building. He said, okay, early Giants fan reunion. Yeah, we early, man. We still gonna do the Saturday show. It just was a lot of things happening today, and I felt like talking to the family about it for sure. Luann says, Dash, I just blasted Stephen A. Smith. I said some harsh in the comments. I do not like him, especially now that he called my team and organization trash. He should be fired. And I'll leave it at that. I'll keep the coarse language in the chat. Luann also said, hey, OKC, what's up? Ty Morris said, what up, big bro Dash? I'm tuned in when I can. Let's get a shot to my man Ty Morris in the building. Tony Bonino was in the building as well. It says, Dash, you think we have a top 5 defense? I don't know what we have right now. I know that I'm pissed off. I know there's a lot of chips on shoulders and stuff like that. I will say this. I am happy that these guys are going to be able to get away and go to West Virginia next week. It's just going to be them, football, and family, put it that way. When I say family, I mean football family, not the actual family, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm happy that they're going to have a chance to get away and concentrate on football. A lot of outside noise happening. They need to shut it down. I Am Robbie said, has it been a good summer media-wise for the Giants? Some players on the team need to grow up. He says, I have low expectations for the season. I apologize for that, I Am Robbie. I apologize that you feel that way. I don't feel that way. Jim Simpson in the building said, yo, Thursday night show with Dash. Let's go. That's a fact. Let's go. Deb is in the building. What's going on, Deb? How you doing, Deb? Twist. What's going on, Twist? Isaac Moore says, we're here. What's good, Big Dash? I'm getting started in a second, man. Kelvin Davis said we good. Thank you for letting me know that I'm good and you guys can hear me. That's a fact. Thunder said, what's bugging you, Dash? Listen, man. All right, we can get into this, man. Shout out to everybody already in the building. Anthony Cherry, I seen you. Black John Mara in the building. What's going on? KS the Creator, what's going on? Stephen Arson in the building. What's going on? The Jackal is in the building. What's going on? Shout out to everybody, man. Again, special Thursday night. Pause. I missed something already? Did I miss something already? I don't know. Did I miss something already? D Hoff says, Big Dash.
I can't help it.
I can't. Wrong button. Let's get it.
Big Dash knows what?
There we go. All right, man. So let's go ahead and let's get into it, man. Obviously we caught the clip of John Mara that's gone viral, and all he was doing was showing his love and bigging up his team and getting his team excited about, the upcoming season. And again, this was recorded back in before OTAs and stuff like that. And all he said to these guys was, it's the New York Giants. This is the New York Giants. And he showed some enthusiasm, right? And we already know when it comes to the Harbaughs, like they're not the coolest people on the planet. They're football people. One of their famous phrases is, "Who got it better than us? Nobody." Again, like I said, it's not the coolest thing. They got cliches, man. That's what it is. But for the sports media, and as many people ran with it, and laughed at it, and I'll just say this. I don't think people understand the situation that the New York Giants were in prior to Harbaugh getting here. I'm not saying us, because us as Giants fans, we already know what it is. We haven't had a real coach in a while, somebody with a plan. somebody with some directions, and not only somebody with a plan and direction, somebody that knows how to execute that plan, said plan. And again, the season is still to come. I understand that, but they don't understand that the change with the New York Giants starts mentally first. Mentally first. I don't care if people think it's corny that John Harbaugh said the New York Giants 100 times. I don't care if that's something that the kids, and I say these kids, I'm talking about these players. I'm older, so I call players kids because they're kids to me. As far as you got, they in their 20s. You might have a couple guys in their 30s, still way younger than me. And some of them don't know the history of the New York Giants. You'll be surprised how many players in the NFL don't really know football history when it comes to overall NFL. Why? Because they grew up playing the sport, not watching it. So their appreciation of the sport is something different. They only know the best teams in the last decade, probably, because these guys were kids 10 years ago. But when John Harbaugh is this excited about the New York Giants, it's not him looking at the Giants like, yeah, this is the Daniel Jones Giants. This is the Pat Shurmur Giants. This is the Brian Dable Giants, the Joe Judge Giants. No, he's not looking at the Giants the same way other people looking at the Giants. He's looking at the Giants because when he got into coaching, and prior to him getting into coaching, his father being a coach, the history of the New York Giants is rich. Lombardi was here. It's rich. Your Belichick's, Parcells were here. I can't even remember the name right now. The Hall of Fame coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a defensive coordinator. When Vince Lombardi was an offensive coordinator. I can't remember his name right now. What used to wear the fedora, the top hat, whatever. The whole point is rich history, and a lot of people don't know that history. A lot of players don't know that history. So when John Harbaugh shows that type of excitement for coaching this team, it's because of how he sees the New York Giants and how he remembers what the New York Giants and where he's trying to take the New York Giants. And the first thing, and I said it in the beginning, if you want to make a change, you got to make a mental change first. And for people to run with it, laugh at it, I feel disrespected. And I might be taking it overboard. Y'all let me know if I'm bugging or not. I might be too sensitive. I might be too petty. Actually, let me go ahead and put so you guys can see the comments on the screen as well. I might, maybe I'm too serious about this situation. Maybe I shouldn't be as mad or worked up as I am about this situation, but I am because I feel disrespected, and we've been disrespected for a long time. So with me, I got some excitement for John Harbaugh. I don't know what the season has in store for sure, but I'm excited about John Harbaugh. So for me, for some people to be laughing at John Harbaugh when he's showing genuine enthusiasm about coaching the New York Giants, I got a problem with that, man. I absolutely got a problem with that. Let me get to some of these comments, man. I might be bugging, though, man. I might be taking it too personal. Sometimes I can get petty, and maybe this is one of those times, but I don't care at the end of the day. I do not care. What's going on? Won't Stop Dream Team. What's going on? He says, I'm here for the start. What's good, Dash? I'm a little pissed off, man. I'm a little bit pissed off today, man. Stephen A. Smith was one of them. Luann talked about it. CBS Sports yesterday, that's what really pissed me off when I watched him yesterday, because I did the video that I dropped this morning. I recorded it last night. And that's pretty much what triggered the whole thing, because I'm looking at, and shout out to my man too, because Emory Hunt was there. He was on that panel, and shout out to Emory Hunt. That's my guy. He was on here. He was on the show, friend of the show. But it was him. I can't remember the lady's host, respectfully, and another draft analyst. And they were serious. The segment was, what are some of the bright spots for each team in the NFC East? And before they even got started, when it came to the New York Giants, she was like, did you see the John Harbaugh video? And she's laughing. And that caused the other guys to laugh as well. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I see where they're going with this. And then obviously, for me, the clip wasn't that bad. Stephen R. says, what was it? 2K chose Wemby over Brunson. That's disrespectful. In a day full of disrespect, that's disrespectful too. Luann said I commented on on Stephen A. Now, listen, to me, I might be bugging. Shout out to Jacob with the $5 super chat. Says, Dash, what up, my guy? I'm thinking 9 wins and a 7 seed. Thoughts, man? 9 wins is possible. 9 wins is absolutely possible. My range is 8 to 10 wins. 9 wins is right there. I think it's absolutely possible. Jonathan says, literally, I've been out of the loop. I'm glad you made this late night. Yeah, man, it was disrespectful, man, at the end of the day. And Stephen A. Smith laughing. Chris Canty, who's who won the Super Bowl with the New York Giants, Chris Canty. He's laughing as well. Nobody's trying to clean it up. And then the crazy thing about it is like he's a Harbaugh. Like we already know like they're a little bit they are a little bit corny. We understand it. They have a lot of catchphrases, but they're winners. The Pops is a winner. John is a winner. Jim is a winner. Everywhere they go, they've won with the corny phrases. And they've been the same forever. For these guys to keep laughing, oh, well, it's the stick. The stick might know. The New York Giants need all of that. We need all of the corny phrases. We need all of the hard practices. You know, we need all of practice with no. We need all of that. We need the discipline. We need all of that, and also we need somebody that's in charge, man. I saw John Harbaugh on Bob Papa and Carl Banks's podcast, and they asked him about the flip. They talked about the backflip, and then they also talked about Jackson Dart jumping off the boat, jumping off the yacht. And you see John Harbaugh try his best to deflect, and he had great explanations. He says that some coaches overreact because they feel like everything these guys do is a reflection of the coach. At the end of the day, these guys are kids, and sometimes these guys got to get talked to. They got to mature. How old is Jackson Dart? He's at the age where you can still jump off the back of a boat. Now, do I want him to do that? Absolutely not. Do I want Scatterbull doing backflips? Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, people like to learn the hard way. If you got kids, kids like to learn the hard way. Sometimes they learn the hard way. But are you ready to play? Are you ready to play? And speaking of that, big news today, and we're going to be jumping around today. Again, this is impromptu. I don't have a list of topics. I'm going to rely on the chat a lot. But big news of the day, Malik Neighbors, they're saying that he might be or is expected to not be on the PUP at the start of training camp. This news was broken by Jordan Renan via Giants Nation show. That's why I saw the tweet. So shout out to Bobby Skinner. I was just in the live, Bobby Skinner's live with Jordan Renan. I seen some familiar faces that were also in commenting too in the Giants Nation stream. But yeah, so the key word to me is expected. Malik Neighbors is expected not to be on the PUP. Somebody please tell me exactly what does that mean? Because that doesn't tell me that Malik Neighbors is going to be practicing next week, first day of training camp. It's not telling me that. It's not telling me that. It's telling me that, oh, you know what? We don't know. And instead of just saying we don't know, we'll say we expect him not to be on the PUP. They didn't say we expect him to be on the side working with the trainers. They didn't say that we expect him practicing. No, they just said we expect him not to be on a piece of paper called the PUP list. And I'm just sitting here like, again, and I saw a bunch of comments, people running with it, people excited and happy. And I commented too on the live. I'm like, Jordan Renan, like, I understand like you're trying to walk it back a little bit, but you understand that some people in the fan base are going to take that information and absolutely run with it. Now everybody or the majority of people might believe that Malik Neighbors is going to be ready to go next week. I'm sitting here and I'm not changing my mind, and I hope that I'm wrong. I still don't expect to see Malik Neighbors until week 5. And I hope that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that he can play week 1. But I'm just saying, I believe it when I see it. My Black John Murray said, one band, one sound. That's what it is, man. It's symbiotic when it comes to the New York Giants. Everybody moving in the same direction. Like a team. Shout out to my man Tudo with the $4.99 super chat. What's going on, Tudo, man? It's been a while. I ain't seen you in a while, but I know you're always in the mix, man. He says, salute and respects to Big Dash, King of Giants Media Podcast, and diehard Giant fans across the pond. Greetings from the entire national rugby team training in North Italy. Shout out to you, Tudo, man, and hopefully you guys have another fantastic season, man, and hopefully you stay healthy, my man. How you doing? And I know you're ready for the season as well. But shout out to my man, Tudo. Let's see. D-Dan said, Dash, how much did I miss? You didn't miss much, man. Again, it was just an early rant of the disrespect that I felt. Again, I might be blowing it out of proportion, but when people laugh, like, can I be honest, man? Like, people been doing a lot of laughing at the New York Giants over the past decade, right? We've been the butt of a lot of jokes for a long time. When we do something right, like hiring somebody like John Harbaugh, when we hire somebody like John Harbaugh, The jokes should stop for a little bit. At least any jokes coming that are pointed at John Harbaugh, those jokes should stop. The New York Giants, this every time I get a content creator on here, every time I get a chance to speak to somebody, they say the Giants made the right move hiring John Harbaugh. But at the end of the day, they want to laugh. Tom Landry, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was like, it's a rich history with the New York Giants. Shout out to my man Ricky, man. Shout out to my man Ricky. Thank you. Tom Landry. That's a fact. Again, but a rich history, and that's all that's all Harbaugh was trying to do. Get these players excited to be New York Giants. Get people excited, for this upcoming season. Because guess what? Dable wasn't doing that. And and he was a player's coach. He had guys laughing. He had all the music playing. And we saw what that turned into. Give me a corny coach. As long as that coach can win. Give me that. I'll take that 10 times out of 10. Remember when Coughlin got here and they talk about, how hard-nosed Coughlin, they needed it at the time. And what did Strahan say after the fact? And they did say that Coughlin calmed down a bit, but he was still pretty strict at the end of the day. But at that point in time, the New York Giants needed that. And right now, the New York Giants need the personality of a John Harbaugh, 100%. 100%. And again, thank you guys, man, because, sometimes I'm bad with names. Yeah, but Tom Landry, thank you very much. JJ the King says, "You're not petty. I'm not petty enough." Listen, man, if I would have went live earlier today, like when I first saw it, it would have been ugly. It absolutely would have been ugly. But I done calmed down a bit. Black John Maris says, Chris Candy can get the smoke too. Listen, man. And you know what, man? Listen, whatever they got going on at ESPN right now, everybody walking on the eggshells, everybody want to go with the popular story. I understand that. And it's quiet right now. And unfortunately, a lot of the headlines this past week have been the New York Giants, whether it's Cam Scatterboo in the backflip. Now it's John Mara with his, pre-practice or pre-mini camp, pre-OTA speech, whatever, opening speech, whatever you want to call it. It's a slow week for this to make the news. And it's funny too, because my wife was like, "What's all the fuss about? Let me see the video." And I showed her the video. She's like, "That's it?" I said, "Yeah, that's it." I showed my middle son and he was like, "Yeah, Dad, that's kind of corny." I'm like, "Listen, I don't care about corny. Not at all. But it's just a difference." And again, the New York Giants need that. JJ the King says, "My range is 12 wins from your mouth to God's ears, 100%. Yeah, that's way higher than I expect. And if we do something like that, then yeah. Shout out to my man Ghost Dog, Big Talk in the building. What's going on? Another fantastic Giants content creator. Make sure you guys go check out my man Ghost Dog and subscribe to what my man is doing. He said, peace and salute to the mighty Big Dash. Forget sucker ass Smith. He been corny." And it's not it's not just Steve Smith. Certain people, certain analysts, they have a stick, and it's expected. So Stephen A. Smith saying what he said, okay, all right, but I know what he is. Chris Canty kind of surprised me, him running with the bunch. And then again, seeing other analysts do the same thing. Pat McAfee, he made a slight joke of it, but he kind of got serious with it. And then with some other people in the room that, kind of let it die down a little bit, but everybody had something to say, and I just didn't like it. I just did not like it. Barry says, "What up, Dash? Canty still a cowpoke at heart?" Yeah, that's a fact. He had to come here and get a Super Bowl, though. So hopefully he understands that he wouldn't have a ring. Crazy, man. Won't you be my neighbor? Listen, all right, so I'm gonna ask you guys, man. Get back to some of the other news. I got my rant out on Harbaugh a little bit. This is not just a Harbaugh rant. We're gonna talk about some other things. But again, for the neighbor news for everybody, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. When it comes to Malik Neighbors, how much of the rumor today are you believing? How much of it is hope? How much of it is prayers? And do you not believe? Again, for me, I gotta believe it to see it. I'm hoping for it. I will pray that he's healthy enough to go at the beginning of the season. But what do you guys think about that, man? To see my man Tuto getting a lot of love in the building. I'm going to the bottom of the comments. Shout out to my man Prime in the building. Mark, what's going on? He says, Big Dash knows time to get to work. Thank you for the 15 months, man. Shout out to the Big Blue Nation in the building for sure. Shout out to my man Prime too, man. I can't wait for the season to start, man. I can't wait for the season. These people can laugh all summer long. They can laugh all summer long. But when September gets here, I cannot wait. And listen, man, that Sunday night, we beat the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a celebration in here, man. It's going to absolutely be a celebration. Dealer, what's going on? He said, what's going on, Dad? What's going on, Dealer, man? I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I was a little bit pissed off. I feel like I'm calming down a bit. Thunder says, Don Shula, Vince Lombardi. We're talking about a rich history here, man. And trust me, I understand. Like, I understand when people laugh at the situation. I understand because the New York Giants have been the laughing stock. So I understand why people, poke fun. But to me, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all either. It wasn't funny, not one bit. He said the New York Giants here, right? Shout out to my man TP Way in the building. What's going on? It said Peach Dash and to the chat, man. Shout out to my man TP Way. Make sure you guys subscribe to my man TP Way too. Again, same as my man Dealer. Make sure you guys subscribe to my man Dealer too for sure, man. Kevin Wilson says, I hope we come out punching teams in the mouth with all this disrespect. Listen, you ain't got to worry about that. I really do. For those people that played football or played any sport, team sport, I should say, you understand, like, your coaches always had corny phrases. But you know what they meant at the end of the day. Like, you can hit them with the side eye or something like that, but you know what they meant. And when it's coming from a genuine place, you feel so. For them to have this type of reaction, for John Harbaugh, imagine the team, because we already know Giants watch. Well, they're on social media, first of all. They do watch some of these updates and stuff like that. So they know the temperature in the room. You don't think that the comments and the laughing that people are doing doesn't make them want to play even harder than what they were before? You know what I mean? To me, that's what I think. Like, oh, everything's a joke. So even a Super Bowl winning, very successful head coach, even he can get laughed at now because now he's with the. Nah, man, it's going to be different. It is absolutely going to be different, man, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion too. Soul Glow, what's going on? Said, yo, chat dash. Yo, what's going on, Soul Glow? Look, I'm trying my best to be calm about this situation, man. But again, I feel disrespected on behalf of the New York Giants and John Harbaugh. I do. I do, man. I'm sorry, but I absolutely do. Now, some other things. I did want to go live last night, actually, too, because I was watching the Giants' life, all 3 episodes that they dropped. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of excited about it. And that's what also made me mad at the reaction, because I saw something that I thought was uplifting, to be corny myself, uplifting. I saw other people comment like, this makes me want to run through a wall. But I'm going to talk about it, man. So hopefully everybody got a chance to see those videos, Giants Life. If you haven't, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. But I like the way that they did it. They introduced us to the coordinators. They did one with Denard Wilson. They did one with Chris Horton. They did one with Matt Nagy. And I'm sitting here like I'm watching every one of these shows, or every episode, and I felt there was something about each episode that got me a little bit more excited and anticipating what the season could be. But I'll be lying if I didn't say that I was the most hyped over Denard Wilson in that first episode of Giants Life. To see the way the man runs the defense, to see his command on the field and stuff like that, to see his style of coaching. It's just something about that. To see the way that he teaches as well. We saw him give Arvell Reese some pointers about covering running backs in the flat and stuff like that, and just and when you have somebody that played the sport at the level and is now a coach, I think that also hits different with certain players. Because a certain level of trust because they've done it themselves. So I'm excited about that, man. Tudo with the $9.99 super chat says, Big Dash. He said, I'll be the only solution to all Giants problems, mate. Please suit me up in Giants gear on match day, and I'll promise you opposing quarterback O-lines won't walk off the pitch on their own powers, mate. Listen, man, that's the energy I need from all Giants, man. All Giants players. I need that type of energy. Again, we waited a long time for like this shift. And again, we're talking way too early. Again, it's still the end of July. We still got a month to go before the season starts. A little bit over a month, whatever. But the whole point is, what are we at? Like 47 days, something stupid. Something. It's not a lot of time before the season starts. Again, training camp starts next week. I forget the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame game is like what, like 14 days or something like that. The Hall of Fame game's like in 14 days. So we're right here. But the shift, and again, I don't know if everybody feels. I might be bugging. I'm knee deep in Giants, man. It's like pause that. But I'm just saying, I feel a shift when I watch the specials. I felt a shift because it's not just oh, here we go again. These guys on the field. This is not Brian Dable. This is not Shane Bowen. This is not Mike Kafka. No, this is a different feeling. You have guys with some pedigrees. Now Kafka came under Andy Reid, but we already know it was a struggle between Brian Dable, who was the offensive coordinator, and Kafka, who was the offensive coordinator, fighting over what kind of style of offense they want to do. What is Harbaugh? Harbaugh is hands off. He told you guys, I want you guys to run the ball. I want to be a more physical team. But at the end of the day, Matt Nagy, you're the one creating this offense. And and Harbaugh's smart enough to let his coordinators do what they need to do. He told these guys what he wants them to do, what the identity should be, and these guys built their plan and scheme off of that. So I'm just excited, man. I'm excited. Greg T says it was pretty funny. You got to admit, Big. What was pretty funny, man? You thought it was corny or funny? Let me ask you that question, Greg T. What was it? Was it funny or was it corny? Because I don't think it was funny at all. Now, things can be corny. Things could be corny for sure, but I don't think it was funny at all. I think he was dead serious. He might have been corny, but he yeah. I didn't get that at all as far as it being funny. Mark Thompson said, "Howdy Dash, a little late night, unexpected." Yeah, it's unexpected, man. I threw this up probably a half an hour before I went live. Ate dinner with the family. Told my wife I gotta go live. I'm feeling disrespected by all these people laughing at John Harbaugh, and she said, "Go get him." Pretty much. And shout out to the over 100 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. It's the perfect time to do it. We're getting ready for the 2026 season. And guess what? You're a Giants fan, then you family. And guess where we at? We at the family reunion. Every week, and sometimes on a weekday. Stephen R. says, Denard Wilson is a blend of Wink and Patrick Graham. Hopefully he's more Wink than Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham was almost too smart for his own good. But I hated the soft shell. But at the same time, yeah, you see a little bit of Wink. You see that aggressiveness, like a Wink, but he has his own twist on things too. Pause. Cringy Grinchy, what's going on? He says, I'm ready to see what the man. Yeah, I'm ready to see it too. I'm ready to see it too. Mark says, yeah, Denard Wilson looks like a special coach, man. Just again, and I kind of said this in the video, right? And it's a lot of disrespect. There's a lot of chips on shoulders, right? Let's start off with John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh was with the Ravens 18 years for the better part of 20 years, whatever. Successful, Super Bowl winning champ. By the time he got to the end of the career, they were begging him to get out. Well, they were begging, the fan base was begging to get him out of there. So he has to have a chip on his shoulder. Oh, yeah, this is how you feel about me after all I did for you? I wish I had the the Denzel Washington training day clip. But he's like, oh, yeah? This how y'all really feel after all I did for the city of Baltimore. So you got John Harbaugh. Then you look at Nagy. Nagy failed in Chicago, right? Not all good offensive coordinators can make it as head coaches. We saw that with Brian Dable. But you got Matt Nagy, had a successful season with Trubisky. got the Chicago Bears to the playoffs. We forget about that. He did get the Chicago Bears to the playoff, and they were competitive with Trubisky. Obviously, things went sideways. He gets fired. He goes back to Kansas City, where, when you're in Kansas City, you're the offensive coordinator, but you're really not the offensive coordinator. And then he finally got a chance to really be able to get back on his own and call his own plays with the New York Giants, create his own offense. He got to have a chip on his shoulder. Next, Denard Wilson. Denard Wilson was sought after. Even the New York Giants wanted him, but he turned us down. I guess he saw the writing on the wall when it came to Brian Daboll, and he said, I'm going to get up out of here. And he decided to be the defensive coordinator with Callahan in Tennessee. In his first year there, he was very, very successful. That defense was one of the top defenses in the league. And it was him calling his style of defense. Then the next season, dealing with a lot of injuries, you know what I mean? A lot of turnover. And what happens? He ends up getting fired as a part of that regime and coaching change. And because he gets another chance. He's back with one of his coaches that he started with. And now he has another chance to redeem himself as a defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. So imagine the kind of chip on his shoulder he has. We can keep going. Brian Callahan, quarterback coach for who? Joe Burrow, quarterback coach in Denver with Peyton Manning, was good enough to get a shot to be a head coach because, again, you just don't get shots at being a head coach if you're not good at your job. He did fail in Tennessee. Where is he at now? All the way back down as a quarterback coach. You think he don't have a chip on his shoulder? You got all these people in the building with chips on their shoulder, man. Look at some of the players. Look at the way, and I'm guilty of it too. If we go down the line of these players, remember how we used to talk about Abdul Carter when he wasn't quite living up to the draft pick, and it took damn near the whole season for him to finally start flashing. Imagine the chip he has on his shoulder. Malik Neighbors is hurt. Got to come back. People are actually forgetting about him a little bit. He felt disrespected when he came out with a list of wide receivers and stuff, or calling them a fantasy bust. It's chips. You guys get what I'm saying, man. It's a lot of people in this building with chips on their shoulder. Posting Adebo, Javon Holland, Tyler Nubin. And I'm guilty of putting one of those chips on Tyler Nubin's shoulder. You get what I'm saying, man? So it's a lot of people with a lot to prove, all in the same area at the same time, trying to make a change for the New York Giants. And I'm going to love every minute of it. Because if this thing really does work out, y'all think I'm mad now. I ain't going to be mad. I'm going to be super duper petty. I've been waiting a long time to be able to talk trash about the New York Giants, man. And I know you guys have been doing the same, man, because I'm just like you, right? I'm just like you. I'm a fan of the New York Giants, and I've been dealing with not being able to talk trash around other people in their teams. I'm at the grocery store. They see my Giants hat, and somebody's saying, "Oh man, that Daniel Jones, man," or "What you think you guys are going to do this year?" "Oh, that Joe Judge, man. You got what you think about Brian?" Yeah, I can't wait to be good again. And petty, super duper petty, man. I'm telling you, it's on the way. The pettiness is on the way. I got some making up to do. In 2022 and 2023, I jumped out the window. I'm ready to jump out the window again. Moist No Drip, what's going on? He says, Wilson engagement on the field is what I like to see. I hope it translates. It should. Again, the New York Giants also are one of the youngest teams in the league. There's a mixture of veteran talent, but even our veterans ain't even old veterans. You got somebody like the leaders on the team. I was on, I did a live stream on Game Time Brian. I was on the show with Cop Pizzle and Patty Trainer, and I was able to get a question to Patty Trainer, like, who do you see as the leader of the New York Giants? And she ran down a list of names of possible leaders, and she kind of went into who she thinks is going to be a captain this season. But I just want to know who you think the leader of the New York Giants is. And right now, to me, two of those guys are sitting on the backdrop behind me. It got to be Jackson Dart, even though it's just in his second year. But he's the quarterback, unquestioned quarterback and leader of the New York Giants in the offense. We go as he goes. And then the other guy is Brian Burns. Absolutely. Let me know in the comment section, man. Who in your mind is the leader of the New York Giants, player-wise? We know John Harbaugh is absolute leader, but I'm just saying, as far as the team goes, you can talk about the offensive side and the defensive side, but who are the leaders? Again, Brian Burns for me is probably the top dog. You figure even last year, Brian Burns was the top dog when Dexter Lawrence should have been. But I'm happy we got guys like Brian Burns in the building for sure. Let's see what else we got going on. Dealer says the shift is definitely taking place. Now we might not get the results everyone is looking for year one, but in this time, this coaching staff will get this team where it needs to be. I do believe that 100%. I'm hoping that we can turn it around in year one. I need a Mike Vrabel, New England Patriots type of turnaround. Is that something that's going to happen? Maybe not. But to see the Patriots do it, and nobody thought that was going to happen, I'm not going to sit here and say that it can't happen. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Is it probable? Probably not. But I'm not going to say no at all. At all. All we need is the leaders to buy in and to get some results. Last year, as bad as we were last year, we were still in games. We just could not finish. We weren't prepared in a lot of areas. I don't think we're going to have an issue with preparation this year at all. There won't be an issue with preparation. We might lose some games still, but we're going to be prepared. You know what I mean? So that's a big difference from what we were, the past couple of years. Soul Glow says, come on, brothers and sisters, 125 people should equal 125 likes. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Now, I appreciate the love and support, man. I appreciate the love and support. The numbers never match. I don't care who, what channel it is. The like button, for some reason, the like button is like kryptonite to people. It's like kryptonite to people, man. Darnell says, they piss us off. F that. We win in the chip. Listen, I'm not getting away from anything. I'm not going to downplay anybody's expectations. I want all of it. If we can run to the Super Bowl, I'm running to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, the disrespect will not be tolerated. Shout out to my man Randall. Randall says, hey, Big Dash, I'm very pissed off at all the negative reaction from some hosts of sports shows, especially Bart Scott, who finally got his walking papers. He was shooting his mouth off last week, bashing us. Listen. All you need to know about Bart Scott is this. The man said he'll take Geno Smith over Jackson Dart. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know where that man and that's all you need to know. I don't know. Bart Scott is Bart Scott. Respectfully. I'm not going to talk about the man losing his job or anything like that. I don't like people losing their jobs. But when you're talking about the New York Giants, and obviously he didn't get fired for talking about the New York Giants, it was a bunch of reasons why a lot of these people have been getting fired. But again, I'm not shedding a tear at all. FaZe says, Big Dash, what's up, bro? F the haters. FaZe, man, shout out to you, FaZe. Because you're the one that showed me. You tagged me in the Stephen A. Smith. Because again, I'll be working. So, I get my news in spurts throughout the day, when I can get a chance to check my phone and stuff like that. And FaZe had at me with the Stephen A. Smith video. With the link to YouTube, and that's where I watch it. And I'm just sitting here looking at Chris Canty, looking at Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. You know when Stephen A. Smith is about to do something disrespectful because he starts off by saying how much he respects the person, and he said, "Let me preface this by saying, oh, John Harbaugh is a fan." I was like, you know what? I know it's about to be some BS now. Whenever somebody starts off a conversation or starts a comment off with all respect, and I got a ton of respect for, and then the butt is coming. The butt is coming. And that's exactly what he did. And we already know what it is. We know the play. We know the play already. So yeah, yeah. But shout out to you, FaZe, man. I appreciate you for sending that video, that link my way. Shout out to my man Wales in the building. What's going on, Wales? How you been, man? He says, salute, Big Dash. Keep up the great work, man. I appreciate the love and support, man. Make sure you guys go ahead and support my man Wales too, man. And Wales too, man. I ain't heard from Big Lou in a while, man. I ain't get a chance to check. I might text him after this. But let me know if Big Lou doing all right or not. If you know, I ain't seen him put out nothing in a while, unless I'm just missing it. Thunder says he says he'll use them laughing he'll use them laughing at them during camp. I believe that because overall they were laughing at everyone. That's the fact. They laughing at the organization. They laughing at, you gonna get me started again, man. They laughing at the organization, man. And again, rightfully so. We put ourselves in that situation. Well, I can't say we put ourselves in that situation. John Mara put us in this situation with the coaching hires and stuff. Couldn't quite get the right person in the building after Tom Coughlin. You went and got hasty fired Tom Coughlin for Ben McAdoo because you didn't want to lose. The whole point is, after that, the curse of Tom Coughlin happened after that. And we're still trying to break the curse, and hopefully Harbaugh is the one that breaks the curse. And we can be successful again, and really this time. Shout out to my man Rev in the building with the $10 super chat. He says, I know I'm late, but I just want to ask, what did you guys think about the Coach Pep? Rev. Yeah, you late, Rev. You late, Rev, but I'll go through it again. I thought it was fantastic. When I saw that speech, I saw a head coach addressing young players and telling these players that you are a New York Giant. And again, for some of these young players, they don't know the history of the New York Giants. A lot of these football players, they don't know the history of football as much as some of us do, as far as like historical information about the NFL, because they're players. They concentrate on playing. They're not worried about the history. And a lot of these guys really don't know the history of the New York Giants. And that's how I took it, as John Harbaugh reminding these players of where they are. Not only are you in the NFL with a chance to live out your dreams, you're also in a storied franchise. Now, this storied franchise might be going through a slump, to say the least, but we're still a storied franchise, a historical franchise, one of the founding franchises, and it means something to be here, and I can't wait for it to mean something again, because again, people forgot, man. A lot of people forgot. They need to get reminded, and hopefully 2026 is the year of reminding people who the New York Giants are. That's all I got to say about that. Randall says, sports hosts have been laughing at us for a while now, and it makes me, I know you ain't gonna say it makes you cry. It makes me upset too, man. I don't know if I'm gonna cry about it, unless you mean cringe. It's only the CR. Maybe let me see if you finish your sentence off. I don't know if you did or not. I'm way back in the comment section too. I'm 14 minutes behind. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get caught up. Hold on. I apologize if I missed your comments, man, but I got to get caught up. I'm 14 minutes behind in the comment section. I'm going to go all the way to the top. I'll try to catch some of these on the way. Pause. Dealer says the Ravens better hope Henry has a good 2 to 3 years left, because once he's gone, that offense is going to fall apart. I've been saying it. Again, you don't know what you got till it's gone. The same thing with the Steelers. A lot of people wanted Tomlin gone. You don't know what you got till it's gone. It is what it is. JDJ says Denard Wilson videos of him addressing the team brings a tear to my eye. He says, especially considering we had Bowen last year, going from Bowen to Wilson is like going from Deputy Doofy to Denzel from Training Day. Now, I love it. One NYG man says, should the Giants extend Kayvon before the season ends if he stays healthy and plays okay? I want a deal done for Kayvon, man. I really do. It all depends on how the season's going and how they feel about him, and if he's in the plans, in the future plans. If you already have him in your future plans, you get the deal done before the season starts, because we don't know what kind of season he's going to have. He might go out and have a not all pro, but a Pro Bowl level type of season. All pro, I'm not going to hold it, but he might have that type of season, top season, and the price tag becomes something unmanageable. And then we're forced to move on, or you have some foresight and be proactive, and you get the deal done now. But it just depends on how the New York Giants are looking and how they feel about him. But I'm definitely keeping a strength by keeping Kayvon Thibodeau. Again, right now, when you think about big money that needs to be spent, that's 2 years down the line. 2 years, 3 years down the line is when you really got to start spending some big money. Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart. So you got the money to spend right now. Let's not be stingy. You talk about creating cap space. What's the point of creating cap space if you ain't gonna do nothing with it? You can't take the money to the grave with you. Is it Go5 says Denard Wilson turned down the job with Dable because he wasn't allowed to pick his defensive coaches? Yeah, they wanted him to keep some of that staff. You're absolutely right. And now he's here with Harbs. Clear difference between Dabes and Harbs, and we'll see a difference this year. Now that was one of the points too. They wanted him to keep a handful of coaches, and he's like, how you gonna hire me to do my job, but then you want me to, keep people that I don't have any kind of relationship with? And it's crazy when you really think about it. But that's what happens when you come in between regimes, in the middle of a regime. Ghost Dog says, I'm gonna be high stepping once these wins start rolling in. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing all of that. What's going on, Simeon? Stephen R says special teams coach ran punt cover. Yeah, I saw that, man. Listen, it's a different type of energy. He ran down the field with the gunner the whole time, almost made the tackle with him. And actually, when it was time to make the tackle, not the tackle, but you know what I mean, with the wrap up, the half wrap up, he said, you better wrap up. It's a different energy, man. And shout out to the social media team too, man, because they have made some changes. I like some improvements. I would say that. I think they have stepped their game up. Their social media team. So shout out to the social media team. I don't know if they're watching anything like that, but shout out to them. They've been doing some good work. And I appreciate any kind of information that I can get from the New York Giants. So these Giant Life videos, I'm here for it. What I wanted to do yesterday was actually watch those videos as a part of the live with everybody to get, real-time reactions and see how people felt about it. But, it's day 2 now, so I don't think it's make it a point of doing that. One thing I didn't like about it, and this is just nitpicking and me trying to be funny. When they did the offense, part 3, when it was Matt Nagy, he kept yelling finish. And it reminded me of another coordinator on the defensive side yelling finish. And that was Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen used to yell finish all the time. And so when Matt Nagy was doing it, I was just sitting here like, you got to get a new word, man. But that's just a football term, man. They always tell you you got to finish. You got to finish. A lot of people saying Brian Burns as the unquestioned leader. Hugh Burrow called him Spider-Man. That's a fact. B squared. Nah, Burns for sure. Mark Thompson says, "Yep, agreed." Dart and Burns, yeah, those are the unquestioned leaders, man. Those are the unquestioned leaders of the team. Again, Brian Burns for obvious reasons, right? So I'm gonna ask you guys, man. Oh, there it is. Here we go. My man Dealer, always thinking the way I'm thinking. He says, "I think Tremaine Edmonds should turn into a leader as the season goes on, given his name, given he's the man in the middle. He needs to have that AP effect on the team." I was just about to ask Dealer, outside of Brian Burns, who are some of the other leaders on the defense? And I was definitely about to go to Tremaine Edmonds. I was definitely going to go to Tremaine Edmonds. Tremaine Edmonds is a big pickup for the New York Giants. Again, when we talk about adding pieces to this defense, and again, Tremaine Edmonds by himself, we understand Tremaine Edmonds, is he as good as he used to be? Maybe not, probably not, but he's still good enough, and he's exactly what we need when you look at the entirety of the linebacker room, that second level. He's wearing the green dot. He's the one that's going to be wearing the green dot. He's the one that's going to get everybody lined up. He's going to get everybody, ready for the play. Very important. I like that he's more of a downhill thumper, more than Bobby Okereke. And again, I was a fan of Bobby Okereke too. But Tremaine Edmonds is different coming downhill. He's just a lot more physical and got a lot more pop than Bobby Okereke did. And you need that type of linebacker at the second level to rub off on everybody else. Pause. Stephen R says Maui Noah by year 2. I hope so, man. We need more vocal leaders on that offensive line. Like we already know Andrew Thomas is nice. Gentle giant, nice, right? I don't know how vocal he is. I don't see too many mic'd up Andrew Thomases, right? I want to know who on that offensive line is going to be that vocal leader that I think every room needs. Not to say that I don't know. Andrew Thomas might be that guy behind the scenes. He just doesn't. He seems quiet to me. I'll put it that way, respectfully. I don't know. I'm not in the build. I should ask the beat writers that question. But he seems more of a leader on the field, leader by example than a rah-rah type of leader. But hopefully Maui Noah is that. I don't know how Maui Noah was in college as far as being a vocal leader, but we do need somebody on that offensive line that can be a vocal leader too. Mark Thompson says Jags did a turnaround as well from 4-30. Yeah, that's another team. That's another team. Yeah, just think about that, right? You had the Patriots who picked right behind us, and the Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken, they picked right before us that year when we got Carter, right? The Jags had the second overall pick. Am I bugging? I'm not. Yeah, they had the second overall pick. They might have traded up for it though, and they got Travis Hunter, but they turned it around in a year with a new coach. The Patriots did it with Mike Vrabel, and now hopefully the New York Giants do it. I can't sit because just think about it. Prior to the start of last year, nobody had the Jags making the playoffs for the most part, and definitely nobody had the Patriots, being who they were, going all the way to the Super Bowl. Nobody had that. And when you look at the roster, when you look at that New England Patriots roster, it's not the most talented roster. When you look at those defensive players, one of the guys that was making plays on that defense was a guy that couldn't even make the team for the New York Giants. A lot of that got to do with coaching too. But he had a chip on his shoulder when he played us, and boy, did he beat up on the New York Giants. But the whole point is, if that Jaguar team and that Patriots team can have a turnaround season, and again, I'm not talking about the New York Giants going all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm saying if those two teams can turn around, why can't John Harbaugh do it? And when you look at those rosters too, when you look at the Jags, that roster's not jumping off the screen. The Patriots roster right now still ain't jumping off the screen. Well, they added AJ Brown, so maybe, but I'm talking about 2025 Patriots, 2025 Jaguars. When you look at those rosters, you might even say that the New York Giants this year might have a more talented roster than those guys. Now, again, it all depends on the development of the quarterback, because Drake May was damn near in MVP talks last year. So, I mean, it's certain things that have to happen. But I'm not going to sit here and look at those teams and say we can't do what they did. No, we absolutely should be able to turn this around. Let's see what happens, though. Our name says Dart is a leader. Luann says if the team is buying in, then we will be good. We'll be a good team and give their all. No, I think they're already bought in. How can you not be bought in already? How can you not be bought in? I think they're absolutely bought in already, Luann. I think he got those people on the right page. We'll find out in a couple weeks, though. We definitely will. Shout out to my man Hooks Rubs in the building. What's going on? Vinny G, what's going on? How you doing? Soul Glow. Yeah, man. He says, yeah, Bart Scott was doing way too much. Listen, man. Like I said, it is what it is. I don't like to talk about people that lost jobs and stuff like that, but I'm just saying. Fighters Destiny said, remember when Mike Greeny brought up your tweet on ESPN? Yeah, I kind of clipped it and use it as an intro sometimes too now. Might as well, right? Might as well. Now, that was dope too, man, because I remember I didn't even see that. Somebody had to tweet me and tell me about it because I wouldn't even known about it. Shout out to my man Mac, the Giants fan. What's going on, man? Another fantastic Giants content creator, man. I saw you and I saw you. Was it yesterday? You guys had a live yesterday talking about the NFC. Shout out to you guys, man. You and Adam. Where we at? Won't Stop Dream Team says we're about to be good again, guys. He said get used to the hate. Nah, but listen, I'm all for it. I'm ready for teams for people to start hating us because we're good. I can't wait. I don't even know what that feels like. Pause. I don't know what I don't know what that feels like to be hated because you're good. It's been a long time, and I was too young when we were that dominant. Because even when we won the Super Bowl 07, 2011, it's not like we were just like a dominant team and been a dominant team. I don't know what that feels. I was too young in the 80s. You know, I was alive for those Super Bowls, but I don't remember those teams like in in the moment. I know the history of those teams. I went back and watched some of those games, but I've never been like in it the way that I'm in it right now and been a dominant team. I can't. Hopefully, that's what's in store for us. Shout out to my man Pete in the building. What's going on, Pete? Reggie, what's going on? He said, "What up, Dad? Sorry, brother, for another." Hold on. What up, Big Dad? Sorry, brother. Another one late to the party. What's up? What's up? Listen, don't worry about it. Again, this wasn't planned at all. This was me just venting, being mad, being petty a little bit about, people laughing at John Harbaugh, and I didn't like it. That's all it was. We still got the show. We got the show Saturday. I do have a panel joining the show on Saturday. And we're going to do a training camp preview. So all of the questions that you might have, I'll put a post out on YouTube. If you have any questions that you want answered or, to get an opinion on, go ahead and put it in the post that I put out about Saturday's show. So if you got any questions regarding camp battles, predictions, things like that, go ahead and put that in the post, and we'll try to answer as many as possible for sure. Right now, I believe it's only like maybe one question in there. So go ahead and do that. If not, I'll throw the topics on, and the show must go on at the same time. I am Robbie says, I'm a New York Giant. Like, bro, we've been losing for years. Literally gave the media something to laugh about. Hey, Rob, I'm gonna ask you a personal question, Rob. How old are you? Just let me know how old you are. Then I know how to answer that. Just let me know. Tony Bonino says they do know about the 4 Super Bowls. Yeah, they know about that. They know about that. Ghost Dog says KT is going to get his paper. We'll see what happens, man. Listen, edge room is a strength right now. Let's keep it a strength. I don't want to create more holes. Pete says the league is in for a rude awakening for that smack talk. They about to all get smacked in the mouth, smash mouth style. That's what I'm talking about. Form tackle. Yeah. Listen, I don't care how many times he said it, man. He was enthusiastic about it. Just think about it. You got a coach that's happy to be here, and not just happy to be here because this is the only team that would hire him, and he's happy about getting a check. No, Harbaugh chose the Giants. He could have went other places. He chose the Giants. He wanted to be here for a reason. Why can't he be excited about it? It's a lot of hate going on, and that's why I'm wearing this hat today too, man. Giants versus everybody at the end of the day. Giants versus everybody. Dad's Life said the O-line is definitely Jermaine. Yeah, Jermaine is vocal. That's a good call right there. Jermaine is vocal. For sure. Let's see where I'm at. I think I'm finally caught. Okay, yeah. I found the bottom of the chat. Now I can work backwards. Uzi says people got nothing better to do. Harbaugh is changing the culture in every facet. He said he is reminding the players that we are a prestigious organization and we should be proud. I love what he did. 100%, man. That's all. Again, my wife was like, show me the clip. And she was like, that's it? It's like, yeah, that's it. And people are going crazy. She said it must have been a slow news day. Whatever. They chose the wrong day to talk trash about John Harbaugh. Not on my watch. not on my watch, man. Not on my watch. Soul Glow says, sorry, guys, I'm back. How long were you going? I can tell you what you missed. Kelvin Davis says, I'm 48 and been down with the Giants since Dave Meggett. Shout out to you. You're an OG. Shout out to you. I've been down for a long time, too. Dave Meggett, too. Yep, absolutely. Booking Tackle says, we making it 5 decades, huh? Yeah, Super Bowl by 2029. 5 decades. Super Bowl in every decade. And I need one by 2029 for sure. Where does Jim Fossil rank in Giants coaching top 5 or top 10? I would call him a top 5. Fossil got to be top 5. Remember the guarantee? Fossil went out there. He was pissed off. He guaranteed the playoffs. They laughed at him too, didn't they? They laughed at Jim Fossil. He said this team is going to the playoffs. People looked at each other like, yeah, you heard what this guy said? With the New York Giants, not only did they go to the playoffs, they went to the Super Bowl. Now we lost that Super Bowl. And that's different. I was in high school for that Super Bowl. Where we at? Stephen R says, I'd rather have Tyrod Taylor over Geno. Listen, man, that Bart Scott was bugging. He wanted a hot take and he got it. And that's one of the last things he said. Well, actually, he said that on the radio. It wasn't even on ESPN when he said that. And I believe he still works for the Fan, right? It was just ESPN that fired him. I believe he still works for the Fan. He still got the morning show, right? I'm not over there, so you guys let me know. He's still on the Fan. He just got fired from ESPN. I believe that's what happened. Soul Glow, yeah, that's what putting my chips in the middle. Anybody wants to get in? Yeah, that's it. That's what Fossil said. Make the playoffs. Yeah, he was talking big cash. And ended up cashing out too. That's a fact. Shout out to rest in peace. R.I.P. Jim Fossil, man. R.I.P. Jim. Definitely top 5. Definitely top 5. Kelvin did, yeah, that Ravens Super Bowl, that defense was something different. You knew it from the kickoff, man. It was just a little bit different, man. Just a little bit different. We did have a couple big plays though, but man, that playoff run, that was one of the better playoff runs. The way we smoked the Vikings, yeah, that was a hell of a run. Kerry Collins with his AA from the AA meetings and his AA coins and all that. Yeah, man, that was a hell of a playoff run. Like the Giants always had like hell of. Whenever we win Super Bowl, it's always like a hell of a run. Always like a hell. We always go through the gauntlet. Hell of a run, and then we got beat up in the Super Bowl. 2000 got beat up. Bart is a joke. Listen, man. Hey. Also, he's a Jet too. At the end of the day, he don't like nothing about the Giants. Bart is a Jet. The funny thing about that too, man, is what kind of relationship did him and Harbaugh have? Because he was in Baltimore when Harbaugh was there, right? Had to be. Maybe there's something else about that too. Maybe it's something more than just him trying to be funny at the end of the day. I don't know what kind of relationship he had with Bart Scott had to be there at the same time Harbaugh, right? Had to be. Bleed Blue, what's going on, man? Always appreciate you joining, man. Even though you're a Dallas fan, always appreciate you joining. I always appreciate you. Yeah, 41-0. Yep, that's a fact. Gave him that goose egg. And that was one of the best offenses ever. Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper. Put the Beats by Dre on him. Imagine that for Randy Moss. Randy Moss, remember that butt whooping? Randy Moss had to be a rookie that year. No, 2000. Randy Moss was at 98. I think Randy Moss got there in like 98. But the whole point is he got his butt whooped by the Giants in 2000. And then 7 years later, lost in the Super Bowl to the New York Giants. Randy Moss must hate the New York Giants. He must hate us with a passion. Chris Carter he was out there. Chris Carter was playing too on that team. That Vikings team was stacked. One of the most potent offenses. Crazy. They was putting up all type of numbers. Dante Culpepper came out of nowhere. Was it Florida, Central Florida, where Dante Culpepper came from? Whatever. They were putting up crazy numbers. Stephen R. says, does Harbaugh make a Fossil guarantee in year 1? I don't know. Hopefully he won't need to. Hopefully we're just winning, and he won't need to make that Fossil type. Because remember, we were on a losing streak. Fossil got fed up and said this team is making it to the playoffs. But it was at, what was it, like a 3-game skid or something like that? 3-game skid. Again, when I was in high school, I was doing more playing than watching football. But it was we were on a losing streak. They had a lot of questions for Fossil, and then he made that statement. And the New York Giants whooped ass after that. And then ran into that Ravens defense. That Hall of Fame defense. That was a Hall of Fame defense, man. That defense was stacked something crazy. He did throw Fossil under the bus. He did throw Sean Payton under the bus. He sure did. He sure did, man. And I remember when Fossil left, it was like, oh, maybe Sean Payton could become. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. But yeah, he absolutely threw Sean Payton under the bus. I ain't gonna get started on Sean Payton. That's a different type of person right there. Droll says that 2000 Ravens defense was the best I've ever seen, and Jamal Lewis was a beast. I saw a video of Jamal Lewis doing the ice bucket challenge for the ALS for Chris Johnson, and that man is still in shape. He looked like he could still get 50 yards out there, man. Almost what? Jamal Lewis got to be what? Almost 50? If not 50, in his 50s. Great shape. Dealer says Fossil was on the hot seat, though. He really didn't have anything. He didn't. And that's why he put his chips in the middle of the table, pushing my chips. Pete Weiner says, yeah, at that time, I wanted us to keep Peyton. Yeah. And, he ended up being a good coach. Obviously, he went on to be the head coach of the Saints and won the Super Bowl there. Black John Maris says, how are we feeling about the DT position heading into camp? This will be a question for Saturday, but we can revisit that. Big question mark, the defensive tackles. Obviously, you have your veterans in Reeder and Shelby Harris. Those are good gets. You don't know exactly what Darius Alexander is going to be. You're hoping that he develops. Then after that, you got a bunch of journeymen, and then you have your rookie Bobby Jamison Travis. That's what we're looking at right now. Sam Roberts found out he was on the PUP list, of course. Roy Robertson Harris got the torn Achilles. They put him on the PUP list, even though he probably should be on the IR. But yeah, it's a lot of question marks after DJ Reeder and Shelby Harris. Now, if we're just going to talk about who the starters are, you figure right now on paper, Darius Alexander, DJ Reeder, Shelby Harris, that is a solid group. If we're going to be absolutely honest, as far as D tackles go, we just got issues with some depth, and what we're doing is we're banking on a lot of people, banking on a lot of uncertainty with these guys. Now, if Darius Alexander ends up developing and being then obviously, the outlook is a lot better. But other than that, it's some question marks, man. There's question marks everywhere, really. And shout out to you. I see the Giants tattoo in your profile pic, man. Shout out to you. Bleed Blue got the Giants on his arm. Now he can't even hide it on his bicep. This on his forearm. But shout out to you, man. Shout out to my man Black John Mayer. Dad's Life says Alexander and Bobby James and Travis are going to ball. That's how I think so too, man. I think that Bobby James and Travis got a chance to surprise a lot of people. Again, I had no clue who he was during the draft process. But I went back and watched him after we drafted him, and there's some sneaky good talent there. Solid, good feet for his size. Strong as hell. But it's just about the coaching and being in the right place in the scheme, working as a strength for them. And I think that's what Denard Wilson is definitely going to do. He is pretty much tailoring this defense to, the players. And nothing but respect for that, man. Dealer says, don't even bring up Ron Dane, Pete. Can't listen, man. Ron Dane, man. That's unfortunate. Ron Dane was an absolute beast in college. What was it? Wisconsin, right? Ron Dane was Wisconsin. He was an absolute beast in college, and then, lackluster when he got here. Lackluster. I thought we were on to something when we got him. Like John Murray says, we don't hide. I want all the smoke. That's a fact. That's a fact. Stephen R says, he says, new 97 that actually stops the run. Yeah. Listen, you know what's crazy? I'm not gonna throw no dirt on Dexter Lawrence. Again, I think Dexter Lawrence was a fantastic Giant at the time. He was just fed up and ready to go. And like I said, he was ready to go. Didn't want to be a New York Giant anymore. Good riddance. You know, you can kick rocks barefoot. It is what it is. Dealer says Trent Dilfer playing in the Super Bowl is equivalent of Rex. Oh man, yeah, playing in the Super Bowl. Yeah, but Rex Grossman didn't win. Chicago didn't win. Who they play that year? They lost to the Colts, right? Was that the Colts or that was the Colts? They lost to the Colts, right? That was the Colts. Because that was a Super Bowl where Devin Hester took it to the opening kickoff, took it to the house, right? But Rex, that's a good analogy though. Trent Dilfer, again. Well, what was the guy for Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay too. Brad Johnson was another one. Wasn't too spectacular as a quarterback, but just had a Hall of Fame type defense. And that was pretty much like back to back, that Tampa Bay defense and then that Ravens defense. Something serious. Stephen R says Ron Dane was the first big back. He walked so Brandon Jacobs could run. Brandon Jacobs was, because even like Ron Dane was a big back, but Brandon Jacobs was just different. Brandon Jacobs was Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry. And the other thing, Brandon Jacobs was bigger than Derrick Henry. Also, Brandon Jacobs was fast too, man. I need a Brandon Jacobs right now. I'll take a Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs right now. Give me like, imagine if you got Scatterboo in a Brandon Jacobs body. That's just not even fair. Not fair. Imagine if Cam Scatterboo just was like a regular size running back, like a 6 foot 220. You know, he might be 220 now, but I'm just saying, imagine if Scatterboo was bigger. But I think a lot of Scatterboo's advantages, he's so low to the ground, you're never going to get leverage on him, and he's just strong as hell. But just imagine somebody with Scatterboo's attitude at 6'4", 20. But Brandon Jacobs was like that too, though. Brandon Jacobs would run over safety and wouldn't think twice about it. Remember what he did to Buddy from the Redskins at the time? What was his name? Landry, right? That safety, the big, the rocked up safety, pause. Ran him right over. High Top 88, what's going on? He says, I had that same hat, man. I had that same hat, and you know what's crazy? When I left Vegas, one of my best friends out in Vegas, he was an Eagles fan. And he was like, and shout out to my man Caesar, man. He said, man, you gotta give me that hat. I was like, what you gonna do with this hat, man? You gotta give me something to remember you by. Like, what? I gave it to him though. Hopefully he still got the hat. And we still joke from time to time. LeRon Landry ran him clean over. Oh, what he did with Woodson was even worse. The way he did Charles Woodson was even worse. Yeah, but he ran over Landry. Landry had a lot of time to think about it too. He saw him coming. Pause. That's crazy. Yeah. Shout out to you know what's crazy, man? Brandon Jacobs got all those, like, you figure with his kids, bunch of linemen. He got one kid that's an offensive tackle, and then I believe his other son is like a defensive end. Ain't none of them want to be a running back. None of them want to be a running back. I don't blame them, because running backs really don't be getting paid like that. Tackles do and defensive ends do. Fighters Destiny says an Eagles fan. He's sold. Nah, he is. Nah, that's nah. Nah, shout out to my man Caesar, man. It's funny too, man, because when they won that first Super Bowl, I think he might have been the first text message I received. Yeah, he was ready to talk trash, but that was my guy though, man. He was cool dude, man. Cool dude. Is a cool dude. Big Blue says, Big Dash knows, speaking of Scatterboo, he's doing some dumb stuff lately with those backflips. Are you worried he's going to re-injure himself before the season? I already put out a video. He got to sit his ass down. No more. Even like when the season, I don't want to see him doing any more backflips. Because guess what? The first time, knock on wood, the first time he does anything remotely to seem like he hurt himself doing a backflip, even like I said, he can score a touchdown, do a backflip and get hurt, and people are going to feel a certain way about it. Like last year, I thought it was cool. Okay, he scored a touchdown, he did a backflip. Okay, now I'm sitting here like, just spike the ball. Just give me the Gronkowski. Just spike the ball, run to the sideline, get you some Gatorade and sit down. I don't need to see no more backflips. You've already proven that you're good to go. You're good to go. I don't need to see more backflips. But in the words of John Harbaugh, just landed at the end of the day. But I don't even want him attempting it. Mr. Fox's neighbors not on the pup to start the camp. Listen, and again, I in the earlier part of the show, I said, what does that actually mean? Not starting on the pup list. Now that's cool, but I still don't expect to see him. Like, we don't know where he is on his recovery, so he might not be on the pup list, but that he might not even be on the sideline working with the trainers too at the end of the day. I just need him back healthy. I do believe it's a good sign. I just don't know what it means past him just not being on the pup list. But I will take it as good news for sure. It does not change my mind as far as how I feel about it. Again, right now, I have set it in my mind, so I'm not disappointed. I'm expecting Malik Neighbors back by week 5. If we get Malik Neighbors back at week 1, I'm going to celebrate. Be excited, overly excited. I would love nothing more to see Malik Neighbors, because just think about it. The last time Malik Neighbors played the Cowboys, yeah, almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, but like, again, I'm not expecting Malik Neighbors back until week 5. I don't care what anybody says. Until I see that man on the field practicing and running, and I'm talking team like 11 on 11, 7 on, until I see that, I'm not even gonna get my hopes up. But I will hope for it. Milk Does, what's going on? He says he's gonna start doing front flip. I don't know, man. He got to stop flipping, man. You know what he can do? He can do a somersault. That's what he can do. He can do a cartwheel. I just don't need no more backflips. Do a cartwheel. That's it. Or just do the Gronkowski, spike the ball, man. Robbie says, I miss guys like Mark Bavaro, who would just have the ball back to the, they just hand it back to the ref, right? They used to say, even when I was growing up, they would tell you, act like you've been there before. Act like you've been there before. So for me, all through Pop Warner, middle school, high school, all that, you scored, find the ref to give them the ball. For me, I used to just leave the ball where I was. That was it. But a lot of, and unfortunately, like, sometimes you're excited and you want to do something. And for the people that are athletic enough to do it, then fine. But no, if you got injuries, especially lower leg, foot injuries and stuff like that, that's where you're landing when you're doing backflips. Let's not do that. James Worthy says, man, if Jack Kelly and Reese develop, we will listen. If Jack Kelly, Reese, and Bobby Jamison if Colton Hood, if all these guys develop, forget top 10, we're talking top 5. If Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland and Tyler Nubin could just be who they used to be or somewhat better, just think about how good, like, see, here we go. I'm again, when I feel myself getting a little too amped up about, I try to walk myself down, but no, just think about it, right? Paulson Adebo had to play at a certain level to get the kind of contract that he got. Obviously, he's coming off of an injury. Obviously, last year he came off the injury. What is he going to look like now? If he takes a step up and looks what he looked like before we drafted him, before we signed him, then that's an improvement. Javon Holland was a top 3 safety, 3 years ago? Top 3 safety 3 years ago. Can he get halfway back to what he was? That'd be fantastic. If Tyler Nubin said this, he got quoted when he was sitting next to John Schmelk. When they asked him about Denard Wilson's defense, he said, I'm going to be doing a lot of the things that I did in college. If Tyler Nubin can look like what he did in college, this defense is going to be fantastic. And now let's get to this Arvell Reese. We still haven't seen Abdul Carter. We still haven't seen what we thought Abdul Carter was going to be yet. So imagine if he makes it to that level. If Brian Burns stays the same, it's a lot of talent on this team. They just lack direction and they lacked the scheme last year. And now they have a direction and they have a scheme now. Listen, I'm not surprised at anything good that's going to happen for the New York Giants this year. I don't think, like, outside of winning like 13, 14 games, If the New York Giants won 8 games, 9 games, 10 games, that doesn't surprise me. If the New York Giants go 11-6, I'm gonna be like, wow, wasn't expecting that. If the New York Giants win 12 games, I'm gonna be like, like we going to the Super. But again, there's only a certain level where I'm gonna be surprised. And these guys stepping up and just playing like they used to play, we're not even asking for much. Shout out to Refuse to Fail, 27 with the $10 super chat. He says, cut Slayton, just eat the money. I want to see OBJ, Hodgins, or Juju get any targets that would otherwise go to Slayton. He said, forget that dude. He said, fuck that dude. First of all, thank you for the love and support. Refuse to Fail with the $10 super chat. It's too much money, man. It's too much money, but also the funny thing about Slayton is it would be such a Slayton thing to do if he actually went out there and performed this year. But to have a almost $16 million cap hit, that's a lot of money to eat, man. That's a lot of money to eat. And at the end, like I think it's a short leash for Slayton because there's a lot more talent in the wide receiver room. But they're absolutely going to give him a chance to compete and fight for targets out there. But 15, almost $16 million is too much money to eat. Now, if he's able to do any kind of restructure or anything like that, then maybe they can do it and think about it. Or if there was some trade value where a team can eat some of that contract, that's one thing. But that's just a lot of money. Refuse to Fail. $16 million. Yeah, that's yeah, that's a lot. That's asking a lot too. But trust me, if there was a way to get to move off of Slayton, I think they would have did it. I do think I don't know how Harbaugh feels about Slayton. You figure Slayton's been injured all spring, dealing with the sports hernia. He should be back for training camp. As far as I know, we haven't heard any new reports. I know Bobby Skinner had asked Jordan Renan today on the show today if he heard any news about Slayton, and yeah, no news on Slayton, which also no news is good news. And the expectation was for him to be ready when training camp starts. So on the 29th, on Wednesday, hopefully he's out there. And again, there's no it's not an open practice on the 29th. But I guess as soon as they let the beat writers and the fans in the building on the 30th, we will know. We'll know exactly where Slayton is. Sai Guy Bra says, easy for you to say about what? Talking about Slayton. Luann says Slayton is a decent wide receiver. He's absolutely a decent wide receiver. He just don't make decent money. He's making more than decent money. That's the problem. If Slayton was making $5 million, I don't think anybody would be worried about it. But Slayton making $15 million is different. Or I should say a cap hit. Because I don't know what his base salary is, but his cap hit is $15, almost $16 million. But Slayton is decent. He is decent. Dealer says we shouldn't even been talking about Javon Holland or Xavier McKinney. That's even a bigger issue. You didn't want to pay Xavier McKinney what was it, $18 million at the time, but you ended up paying Javon Holland $18 million. It never made sense to me. But again, that was Joe Shane. That was 2023 Joe Shane. So hey, 2023 going into 2024 Joe Shane, I should say. Tim says, what's going on, Tim? He says Neighbors has avoided being placed on the pup list. Yeah, he did. Again, we don't know what that means, though. Stephen R. says, cut higher to send him to the moon. You can do both. You can do both. And that's coming from a Jalen Hyatt supporter. For real. Robbie says we can win 7 to 9 games realistically. That's the range. I'm at 8 to 10 wins. I think we should be able to double the win total from last year, even with the quote unquote tougher schedule. I think this is a tougher built team. So if this team can win 4 games with a mixture of Brian Dable and Mike Kafka as head coach, then why can't Harbaugh win 8 games at least? 8 games at least. I think it's absolutely possible. And the crazy thing about it is if the New York Giants won the games that they collapsed in, they probably would have won 7 games last year, 7 to 9 games last year, if we're going to be honest. How there was another 4 losses where the New York Giants had the lead going into the fourth quarter. Like, come on. We should have beat the Chiefs last year. We should have beat the Saints. It's like, and that's just those games. The Broncos game, the Cowboys game. We should have won those too. They go your 4 right there. But if we did that, Dable might still be here. So everything happens for a reason. I thank God for those losses because Dable is gone and we got Harbaugh. Everything happens for a reason. Things fall into place. Scott says he'll trade Slayton, get him off this team, please. I mean, I don't know I know the cap hit is $16 million this year. I don't know what the cap hit's going to be in 2027. He is not a free agent though, but I believe you can get out of that contract in 2027. Trade Slayton for Trey Harris. They're not going to give up Trey Harris just for Slayton. We're going to have to give up more than Slayton to get Harris, especially with that money. I don't know who that is. Tim Firth said Mooney used to date Alex Earl. I don't know who that is. Mac the Giants fan says you probably going to get a similar Slayton to when he was a rookie. I can see that. That's possible. It's possible. He says no pressure on him. Just got to go out there. No, I think there is pressure on him because he is making a certain amount of money. And I also think he's kind of prideful because we know when the New York Giants are up and playing well, Slayton is a talker. Slayton to be on social media talking trash. We've seen that before. So I do think he has a little bit of pressure on him. Somebody that probably does not have any pressure on him is Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt don't got no pressure on him. I think he pretty much knows what it is. Maybe he does have pressure then. Maybe. JJ the King says, in what world is Slayton? Slayton is decent. Slayton is decent. Just think about the definition of decent. Decent. The man is like when we put our biases aside when it comes to Slayton. Slayton is decent. He's just caused a lot of stress in the fan base's lives, and so we see him as the worst thing on earth. But if we're being honest, Slayton is decent. He's decent. I can't call and I've called him all type of names. I've called him horrible. I called him bad. I called him terrible. But at the end of the day, he's a decent wide receiver. He not worth that price tag though. Tim Firth says cut both Slayton and Hyatt. You probably get one of those done this year. Slayton might be next year. The Bears, the Packers, the Lions. Simeon says Hyatt has pressure to find a real job. That's different. Rev says Slayton is definitely a decent. He's decent. That's it. Decent ain't even saying much. It's like saying mid. Like Slayton is mid. He's mid. He is mid. Now, if Slayton's your wide receiver too, then that's terrible. But if we're Slayton most likely ends up maybe not at the start of the season. He could be wide receiver 2 at the beginning of the season. But by the time we get to the middle of the season, Slayton's probably wide receiver 3-4. Like realistically. And then that becomes a bad situation because how much money he's making in his wide receiver 3-4. But at the beginning of the season, Slayton most likely is wide receiver 2. He's probably going to lose that job or lose reps to Mooney, to Fields. You guys know I'm big on Calvin Austin. Maybe that happens, but right now, unless he has an absolute horrible summer, and then you might start off week 1 with damn, that's crazy. It'll just be Mooney, Austin, Fields, and Odell Beckham. Yeah. But you still got Likely and you got the tight ends and you still got the running backs who can also, get some work in the receiving game, passing game. Slayton's wide receiver 0. Dealer says on this team, Slayton ain't garbage. He's not. Like I said, he's mid. Like this time last year, I was driving the Slayton bus. I'm like, if he can get 75 catches, he can get 1,000 yards. Didn't happen. Now, like I can't just like with Hyatt, I can't defend Hyatt anymore. I can't defend Slayton anymore. But again, for me, it makes so much sense for a year or season that everybody is absolutely almost done with Darius Slayton for him to go out there and perform. That would be the most Slayton and Giants thing to happen. Tell me I'm lying. What's going on, T-Time? What's going on? Deal also says he basically your third best wide receiver. Cutting him is a ridiculous statement to make. Nah, man, listen. Like again, people gonna feel the way that they feel about Slayton. Again, there's a lot of heartache when we talk about Slayton. Even last year, 2 touchdown passes dropped for sure. Another few drops that he probably could have ran in for a touchdown. So there's a lot of points that he left out there on the field. A lot of bad drops, a lot of balls that he caught and then dropped it on his way to the ground. Ridiculous. And that's all people remember. And they do. That's what stands out to a lot of people. Like we don't think about, in 2022, the Jacksonville catch from Daniel Jones. We don't think about that. We don't think about the slant in the Minnesota game. We don't talk about, we don't think about that. We just think about how bad those drops were. We think about the Pittsburgh game. We think about the Commanders game where he had just big drops, end zone drops. And that's what we remember. That's what we remember. Dealer says, nah, just know what I'm you going back and who you going back and forth with, man? Who you going back and forth with somebody? I'm gonna leave y'all alone. I'm gonna let you handle that. Simeon says last year was the best opportunity for Slayton to stand up and produce, and he allowed Robinson to outplay him 100%. 100%. Man. Soul Glow says, Dash, I hope you're getting paid for all those damn commercial popping up. What commercials you talking about? Oh, for the live streams, how many commercials in? I said less. It's a lot of commercials popping up. That's YouTube doing their thing. I hope so. Soul Glow. They don't tell me when the commercials pop up, so let me know. I can see if I can work something in the settings or something. But hell yeah, I hope so too. I hope so. I absolutely hope so. We got a season to get ready for. Stephen R says OBJ week 1 touchdown will feed generations. Listen, if OBJ scores in the preseason, is going to be pandemonium. If OBJ scores in the Dallas game, absolute pandemonium. Absolute pandemonium. Shout out to my man Jalen in the building. Said Big Dash knows what. Shout out to you, man. Rob, you gonna do him like that? I can do Instacart orders with me. Listen, man. The one thing about Hyatt is this, man. I think Hyatt. I used to think Hyatt was just lacking opportunities, and last year we saw him get some opportunities, and he didn't take advantage of them. You got a guy that can stretch the field, that's without a doubt, but for whatever reason, was not able to be a target. Was fighting to get on the field. And now you're sitting here with a clean slate, and then it's just going to be hard for him to get reps with everybody else possibly in front of him. That's why I said I can't wait for these reports to come out of, first team, second team, third team offense and stuff like that, and what the wide receivers look like. Because, again, you're not going to have Neighbors. Who knows if we're going to have Slayton, and then we're going to see where Likely fits in, where Austin fits in as far as slot receivers. You're going to see who's going to be lined up as the X and the Y and all that stuff. So, yeah. the X and the Z. So, I can't wait for some of these reports, man. Because right now we're not getting a lot of information. We just know that Harbaugh wants to run the ball. But, again, we signed all these wide receivers for a reason. Dad's Life said YouTube better pay them, man. I hope so. If they got this many commercials like y'all say happening, ads popping up, hopefully. I hope so. Refuse to fail says OBJ will absolutely score in the preseason. Bet the farm on it. I hope he makes the squad. I think OBJ is making 53. You don't go through what you like. Just think about how many tryouts the Giants had him in. What, like 3-4 times, right? They had all these conversations, all these phone calls between Harbaugh and OBJ. They just wanted to make sure OBJ was right. Somebody said it, man. I forget who it was. But I watch so much Giants content myself. But somebody said, like, with everything going on with OBJ and John Harbaugh, all the phone calls and contact and stuff like that, the conversation was probably like, "Hey, Odell, man, if you come here, I don't want to have to cut you when you come here. So once you get here, hopefully you're right and ready to go." And that's why when Odell first got here, was one of the first comments Harbaugh said was, he looks like he's in better shape than he was when I had him in Baltimore. So that just goes to show you what those conversations probably were like all off season between Harbaugh and OBJ. And when you look at the contract situation, no real guaranteed money. Like you got a coach that wants him to be here, and you got a Odell Beckham that wants to be here because he has again, at the beginning of this stream, I said you got players with chip on their shoulders. Odell Beckham is one of those two. A lot of players with chips on their shoulders. And all you need to do is give these people a target. And right now, the target is the rest of the league. They need a villain. The New York Giants need a villain. And we got a few. We absolutely got a few. Media is one of them. And we gave him something to fight for too. Harbaugh is something for this team to fight for. So yeah. Luann says I should be on ESPN. They say ESPN might be a sinking ship. So I don't know. Shout out to my man LRP in the building. What's going on, LRP? Another Giants content creator. Make sure you guys go over there and show him some love too, man. Dad's Life says, got to take Slayton money out of the equation. He was in the right place at the right time. He's decent. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? I like the question mark at the end of that. Yeah, man, he got paid already. That money spent. We already moved on. When we find out there was no trade market for Slayton, and then again, you got receivers dealing with injuries. Slayton, like, in all honesty, Slayton makes 100% of the teams in the league. Like, you can't tell me Slayton can't be the wide receiver 5 on the best in the best wide receiver room. You can't tell me that he can't be. So despite how we feel about him, he's a wide receiver that can make almost every roster. He has that type of talent. We're just disappointed in him because of the drops. He's not. He won't make it as a wide receiver 2 on every team or a wide receiver 3 on some teams, but he's definitely at least a wide receiver 5 out there for sure. We just end up having him as a wide receiver 2 this year, possibly a 3-4 when it's all said and done. Tom says, Luann, you're here much better than ESPN. Let me, like, truthfully though, outside of like clips and stuff like that, I don't watch ESPN that much because it's no longer news. It's just takes. It's just takes, and there's enough takes on YouTube already. So for me, I haven't sat down and just watched a ESPN show in a long time. Like most of us, we consume our entertainment on YouTube for the most. We get our information from YouTube, and that's it. Well, you said Aunt David says Dash pen the dealer yardage comment. Where we at? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Dealer says, I'll put money on it right now. OBJ makes this team. He ain't going over 300 yards. Ain't a doubt in my mind. Listen. I just even for me, I don't have OBJ at 300 yards. It just depends on the opportunity. Just think about this last year. Last year you had Wan'Dale Robinson with 1,000 yards. The closest guy next to Wan'Dale Robinson was Darius Slayton. He had like 535 as a wide receiver 2 second option. So we're talking about a team who's gonna be more run heavy, a quarterback with even more targets to spread the ball around, who favors the slot receivers. Where does Odell Beckham fit in? But also, if Odell Beckham got 299 yards, dealer, you'll be right. But also, if he got 301 yards, I think I just think it depends on the opportunity and the targets. That's it. That's it. That's it. But again, I'm rooting for Odell because I do believe that he has more in his tank than people give him credit for. But again, we'll see. Because again, I think even Deila, if we get into these training camps in the preseason and he's out here just making clips out of these cornerbacks, then I think you might warm up a little bit. And maybe that 300 yards plus seems more. And also the way you said 300 yards is not saying I totally don't believe in him. Because there's a lot of wide receivers in the league that don't even get 300 yards in the season. But you still, they're still kind of like household names. So I see what you did there. Now, if you would have said Odell Beckham's not even getting 100 yards, then people will feel a certain way about that. But here's my deal. For me, it's more about touchdowns with OBJ. That's it. Shout out to my man Tyrone Hall on the bill. Said salute to the chat and Big Dash. I'm late to the party. Where you been, Tyrone? Also, this was unscheduled, so I ain't gonna hold it against you. It's late too, man. It's late too over there. Refuse to Fail says I'm stoked about Likely, but it really puts Fedoni on the back burner. I hope we're able to keep him on the practice squad. It's very, very disappointing what's happening with Fedoni. Seeing him on the PUP list was very, very disappointing because just remember, again, everybody holds on to the words of these coaches. Harbaugh said Fedoni should be back for training camp, and he's not back for training camp. He's starting on the PUP list. He got a foot injury, which is a bummer because he's a very talented tight end, especially coming to high school, then also in college, but just dealing with the injuries. And I think for me, prior to this PUP news, I would much rather have Fedoni on the team than Manhurts because I already know what Manhurts is. I don't know what Fedoni can be. But now getting this news about Fedoni being on the PUP list, it's just like it sucks. But also, I do believe that Fedoni is one of those tight ends that you could probably get to the practice squad, especially if he's not healthy. You could probably sneak him onto the practice squad and slowly let him develop and come along. And then when it's time for him to get called up, him be able to do that. So, but it's just unfortunate too because I think Fedoni is talented. Mac the Giants fan says, I love OBJ, but he got to earn his spot. 100%. I'll say this when it comes to the wide receivers, because a lot of arguments for wide receivers is what can they give you on special teams, right? The back end wide receivers, they got to give you something on special teams. Now, if you're talking about a returner, kick return, punt return, that's one thing. Wide receivers as gunners, just give me a cornerback instead. Just give me so if you're telling me we keep 6 wide receivers and that 6 wide receiver is Odell Beckham, but people are mad because he ain't giving you no special teams reps. No, I don't just give me a cornerback or a backup safety that can be a gunner. You know what I mean? Is Dalen Cambry that good? Is Braxton Berrios that good? That because just think about it. Right now, your kick returner is Tay Banks. Your punt returner is most likely Calvin Austin. The backup is probably somebody that I can't even think about right now as far as the return. Devin Singletary, most likely. And then you got, who else? Tyrone Tracy was back there sometimes. So you got returners at the end of the day. But if we talking about wide receivers and special teams and as defensive special teams, gunners and stuff like, no, just give me a cornerback. Give me a cornerback. Give me a safety. And I'm good. I'm not too worried about why. Like you tell me the cornerback 5 not playing special teams, then I got a problem. But a wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 not on special teams, I'm not that worried about it. I'm not that worried about it. He said that's Banks' job. Soul Glow says I strongly believe Berrios or Bankston. Now that's going to be tricky. Because I do believe we only keep 3 running backs. And the chances of Bankston making the 53, that means this summer in preseason, it was lights out as a returner if Bankston makes the team. Braxton Berrios makes a lot more sense because he's a straight up replacement for Gunnar Olszewski, so that makes a lot of sense for Barrios. But again, it just depends on how many wide receivers we keep and who starts off on the pup or who starts off on IR. If Malik Neighbors is good to go week 1, then to me, you might see somebody like Odell Beckham not be on the squad because you feel comfortable enough with Neighbors and you got Braxton Berrios. But if Neighbors is not playing, then I think OBJ is absolutely making the team. Right now, I already think that OBJ is absolutely making the team, as is. He is the wide receiver 6, in my opinion. But if they do decide to go with Banks and Barrios, maybe they just keep the extra player. Maybe they just keep a 7th wide receiver, and maybe they go 3 tight ends instead of 4, depending on how you count Pat Ricard. I know he's a fullback, but I believe he counts as a tight end. Well, he practices with the tight ends. But yeah, it just depends on what they want to do, or if they're keeping 9 offensive linemen instead of 10, or if they're keeping 5 cornerbacks instead of 6. It just depends, because he probably only keep 4 safeties and like 5 cornerbacks, probably maybe 6 cornerbacks. People agree with the Fedoni. Barrios is gone. It could be, man. It could be. Barrios is solid though. In a pinch, he's solid. Born for Sports, what's going on? He says, I think people sleeping on the impact Mooney can possibly have. He had his best years with Nagy. I think OBJ will help, but it's about health with him. I'm really hoping Fields emerges by midseason. Here's the one thing with Fields. Like, I'm not worried about Fields at all because of what his skill set. He has a special skill set. A special skill set, and that's the 50-50 ball. And we already know that Jackson Dart is one of those quarterbacks that will allow his playmakers to make the play. So if Fields is out there, Dart gonna give him a chance. And if Dart put that ball in the air, Fields gonna come down with it. That's all I know when it comes to Fields. Now, if Fields can take the next step in development as a full-on wide receiver, working on his route tree and stuff like that, because a lot of people forget he was a high school quarterback that they turned into a wide receiver. So he still got a lot to learn, a lot of sharpening to do as far as his wide receiver tools. So he's still developing as a wide receiver, not just as a rookie making it to the next level, in the NFL from college. He's actually still learning the wide receiver position, and this is an important year for him. But just off of his skill set alone, to see what he was able to do at Virginia, especially when he was at Virginia, knowing that he wasn't even a wide receiver for long, he's just absolutely talented. So I do believe that Fields, because of his quarterback, can make an impact very, very early in the season for the Giants. All you got to do is throw him the ball, give him a chance. And that's the one thing when we think about the years that Daniel Jones was here, he was gun shy. Daniel Jones was gun shy. If he wasn't wide open, Daniel Jones wasn't throwing the ball for the most part. Jackson Dart, man. Jackson Dart, you see some of the balls Jackson Dart was throwing last year? He was a gunslinger. He takes chances. And I think he has the wide receivers that make him look even better, and that'll help with his development for sure. Craig 5592 says need OBJ to stick around because that will be Neighbor's future if he doesn't produce. Boy. Again, when I think about OBJ different than a lot of people. Again, some people will say they just want to see what OBJ can do on the field. It ain't just about that for me. When it comes to OBJ, it's about a leader that wide receivers listen to in the room that's not a coach. And I say that every time I talk about OBJ and his impact on the Giants right now. It's not about what he can do on the field by itself. No, it's about how he affects that room, bringing up the competition level in practice. That's something that OBJ is doing right now, bringing up that competition level in practice. But also, again, when a wide receiver needs pointers, when a wide receiver needs some tips on how to attack a cornerback, some tips on how to run their routes, if they need to cut things short, if they need the hard stops, that's something that they can go to OBJ and say, hey, what do you think about this? How should I attack this cornerback? And at least OBJ can do that. At least OBJ can give these young wide receivers pointers on how they can be better. And just that alone, especially because he ain't making a lot of money, just that alone is that extra value of why I would keep OBJ around. Because just think about it. If, say, Malik Neighbors is healthy and we get into a game and there's some stuff happening, Malik is, out of his zone a little bit, OBJ got the kind of status that he can go to Malik, grab him and say, hey, snap out of it. Hey, I see how that cornerback is playing a little bit inside. Try this on your next route before you. I could see OBJ doing something like that, and that's value, extra value that Odell Beckham has for this team that nobody else in his wide receiver room can do. You think Malik Neighbors going to listen to Darius Slayton? You think Calvin Austin, Darnell Mooney going to listen to Darius Slayton? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I do like Mooney. I'm gonna go back to what my man was saying about Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney, I don't know, depending on how you feel about him, he might surprise a lot of people. I believe him right now, he's the wide receiver 2, depending on when Malik Neighbors start. And at a point in time, he might be wide receiver 1, if we're going to be honest. He's another guy, some people call him a one-trick pony, speed guy. But again, we've seen him get 1,000 yards with Matt Nagy. So we can see what happens with that. Y'all in here still arguing? I see all the @ signs, man. You guys in here arguing for real on a Thursday, Friday Eve at almost 11:30 at night. Y'all sitting here arguing. That's hilarious. But we're fanatics at the end of the day. Again, shout out to the over 100 people in the building and the one person on Facebook right now. Shout out to whoever's watching on Facebook right now. Jesse is it? Hold on, Jesse Montanez. Let me know if I said that right. But shout out to Jesse. He says Dart got a slide if needed. He's got 2 great running backs and a fullback. Don't need to run. Yeah, I was watching Locked On Giants. It was Patty Traynor and Mark Collins, and Mark Collins was saying he don't want to see Jackson Dart pretty much run the ball at all. And you figure Collins is old school. He's old school. So I don't agree with that. And respectfully, I don't agree with that. But I do believe, or I would say, just that Jackson Dart needs to be smarter. We just think about a lot of the running quarterbacks, even Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson utilizes his legs as a weapon, but also he gets out of bounds, he slides and stuff like that, and he keeps himself safe for the most part. That's all Jackson Dart got to do. Jackson Dart just got to realize that these safeties hit like NFL safeties. They not 18-year-old walk-ons in the SEC. You know what I mean? These are NFL caliber safeties. They're going to hit you hard as hell. So he just got to be smarter. I don't want him to get away with what makes him a good quarterback right now, and using his legs. He has to do that. That's a part of his game. We all cheer for it. He just got to be smarter. That's it. Just got to be smarter. Slide and get out of bounds. Just like you said, he got to slide. He got to get out of bounds. And also on your way out of bounds, don't try to, launch yourself into the defender. Just get your ass out of bounds. That's it. Shakedown shenanigans. Got to be saying by your name. LRP, my man says, I disagree. Let the boy play his game. Yes, make smarter decisions when running, but to take that skill away is detrimental. 100%. That's what makes Jackson Dart Jackson Dart. And the one thing about Jackson Dart, too, is when he's scrambling and extending plays, he's still looking downfield. It's not like as soon as things break down, he tucks the ball and run. No, he's still trying to make the play downfield, and that's what I like about him. One of the early series in his career in the Chargers game, he's in his own end zone, backed up into his own end zone, scrambles a little bit, he calls Slayton back. Makes the play. Like scrambling is Jackson Dart. He is not Peyton Manning. He's not Eli Manning. He's not Tom Brady. He's not a statue back there. And he's even more exciting because of that. We can't try to switch him up. Absolutely not. Oh, man, Thinker, here you go. And I already know how you feel. He says Jameis Winston becomes QB1 by week 4. Come on, man. And I already know how you feel because even last year you was on the Jameis Winston. And I like Jameis Winston too. But let's be honest. Jameis Winston is the backup, and I would like him to be the long-time backup too, if he's satisfied with that. I believe that Jameis Winston probably believes he can go somewhere and still start and get some snaps. But if he's okay with being a QB2, Jameis Winston to me can stay here as long as he wants. He can be Jameis Winston. Honestly, could be a backup for like another 4 years if we're going to be honest. And I wouldn't mind it. But with me saying that, at some point in time, you still need to develop another quarterback with a similar skill set as Jackson Dart too. But yeah, they gonna let you have it, man, Dinka too. But that man Dinka been saying that for a while. Refuse to fail says Dash. Please speak your thoughts on Turbo Miller. He's wasted talent, in my opinion. The thing about Turbo Miller is this: he's been able to hang talent wise. He's been able to hang around. This is a new regime. I'm assuming at some point in time, Harbaugh is going to put his own like fingerprints on the running back room. Right now, you're cool with Tracy, you're cool with Cam Scatterable. Those guys should be here for a while. I think like they are older running backs when we drafted them, so they might be like one contract guys. But at some point in time, Harbaugh is going to bring in some running backs. When it comes to Turbo Miller, his skill set is what like in the screen game, he's a threat. In between the tackles, he's a liability. Super fast, but the whole point is can he get started? And we've seen him flash last year, again, in the screen game, but I don't know how many touches he's going to get this year. Well, he should get a lot of touches in preseason because you're not going to see a lot of Cam Scatterable and a lot of Tyrone Tracy probably. So guys like Miller and Bankston should get a lot of reps in the preseason, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for him to crack the 53. And for him, he might just end up on the practice squad again. And if he's not feeling it anymore, then he probably just leaves it alone. And maybe he goes to the UFL or something like that and rebuilds, I guess his confidence. And we've seen guys go to the UFL and come back. So I don't know. Yeah, listen, man, y'all can't take man thinking too seriously, man. He is a Jameis Winston. He called himself a Winstonite. Listen. You're not going to change his mind. He's been on it since last year. He wanted Jameis Winston to start last year over Russ and Jackson Dart. I remember that. So take that with a grain of salt. Big Blue Reborn in the bill said, at work, Big Dash, but I made it. Let's go. Hope Giants Nation doing good. Everybody's doing good. I started this stream with a rant, pretty much just pissed off at the disrespect or the disrespect that I felt was happening with the whole John Harbaugh thing and people pretty much laughing at his enthusiasm of being a new coach for the New York Giants and all that stuff. So that's what pretty much triggered this unscheduled Thursday night edition of Late Night Giants Talk. I've calmed down since then, and we've been able to have some conversations outside of that, which will continue on Saturday when we do our full-on training camp preview. So a lot of these questions that you guys have, bring them back on Saturday night. And not only will I be answering them, we'll have a panel of other Giants content creators to also, answer those questions as well, get their point of view. I know a lot of people, a lot of other Giants content creators will be traveling, going out to West Virginia. Salute to those guys. Safe travels. Can't wait to see the reports back from training camp. And yeah, just trying to keep this community together, unified and all that, because there's a lot of us out here putting out fantastic content, and it's up to everybody here to support each other. And build this community. Jesse says, Dash, thank you for coming to the Game Time Brian Clash. Loved it. Now it was dope, man. Game Time Brian is cool. I haven't got a chance to talk to him during the season, so I don't know if his energy is the same during the season as it is in the off season. All those guys cool over there though. All those guys are cool. Craig says, closeted Winston level, come out the closet already. It's 2026. We're a non-judgmental Giants. He is out of he is not closeted. That man is absolutely all over Jameis Winston. Pause. Alex Serrano says, Dash, it's been a while. I'm here to stir the pot in this chat. Steph Diggs settlement case. Weird bro was asking for the Giants to pick him up after jumping. Oh boy, his to OBJ. Good Lord. Yeah, that's stirring the pot for sure. I got nothing to say about that. Stephon Diggs might get picked up somewhere. Maybe the Commanders picked him up. I didn't know he was trying to be a New York Giant. I didn't see that. And I watched a because he got his own YouTube channel. I've been watching a couple of episodes that he put out, but I haven't seen him advertise, his services for the New York Giants. And also, yes, that whole a couple of lawsuits he got going on, and it's some crazy allegations happening. But it is what it is. And what's going on? He's still talking to Dealer. Let me proofread this first, make sure I'm not doing that. I'm gonna just let you guys argue. Oh man, Jesse says he feeds crab legs to Winston. Y'all in here cracking up. Where we at, man? We are at the 2-hour mark. You know what's crazy about this? I only wanted to come on for an hour, and we ended up doing 2 hours. Shout out to the over 100 people still in the building. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you go ahead and do that, and also hit the like button. I don't know where the like count is, but we have over 100 people, so hopefully we got somewhere close to 100 likes. If you haven't got a chance to hit that like button, I know sometimes you might just be lazy. Go ahead and get out of the chat, hit the like button, come right back. You're not going to miss too much. And I think we are caught up, though. Deal is still going back and forth with Ant and some other people. That's going to be fun Saturday, too, when we get a chance to go back and forth, too, and talk about training camp battles and stuff like that. But before I get out of here, man, if anybody got any last questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But there's certain things I want to talk about because I got a chance to talk about Denard Wilson. I love the energy from our new special teams coach, Chris Horton. I want to talk about Matt Nagy just really quickly before we get out of here. When it comes to Matt Nagy, I talked about coaches and coordinators that got chips on their shoulder. Again, Matt Nagy is one of those guys. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, we kind of have an idea of what the identity is for the New York Giants on the defense. And what Denard Wilson wants to do. When it comes to the offense, it's a little bit murky as far as what the decision is going to be or how they run this offense. We do know that they want to they want to include the run a little bit more than we've done in the past. Even more than what we've seen in Kansas City, even more than what we've seen in Chicago when Matt Nagy was the coach there. So I'm very curious to see what this offense actually looks like. We already know we're going to see more play action. We already know we're going to see more Dart under the center. We're going to see more play action with Dart turning his back to the defense, which you got to have a lot of trust in your offensive line to even try to run, the play action. Also, you got to have a successful running game in order to run the play action. So for me, that's one thing that's probably going to be the most intriguing for me. And the part that sucks is when you get into preseason, things are going to be very, very vanilla. Like it's going to be almost boring what the offense looks like, but we really won't know what this offense is going to look like until week 1 versus Dallas. But with that being said, man, Matt Nagy has to be excited with what he has to work with. Again, you have Cam Scatterable, everybody Cam Scatterable the way he runs, but also he can be used in the passing game. Same thing with Tyrone Tracy, and to have a third option of Devin Singletary as a running back. I think that is even though we don't have one of those top dog running backs, I think as far as running backs by committee, we have a strong running back room with those 3 guys. When it comes to the wide receiver room, obviously we don't know when Malik Nabers is coming back. That's going to be a big question mark. But when you look at some of these other targets and what Jackson Dart had to work with last year versus what he has to work with this year, you have to feel good about that. Then when you look at the tight ends, again, Theo Johnson is one of those guys that's kind of enigma to me because he has the talent to be one of the top tight ends in the league, has the size to be one of the top tight ends in the league. We saw him flash last year, but he has to be more consistent with catching the ball. Isaiah Likely, we have high hopes for Isaiah Likely, but when you look at the actual production last year in Baltimore, the man only had 300 yards. And I believe he only had like 1 touchdown on the season, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been more than that. But we're banking, and the team is banking on him to develop in I guess they're projecting on what he could be rather than what he's done already. And I'm excited about that. So there's a lot of pieces to this offense. Well, I should say you have a lot of pieces on this offense, but I don't quite know exactly what it's going to look like. And that's both intriguing, exciting, and scary at the same time. But that's probably going to be the most intriguing thing for me is to see what this offense looks like in 2026, because I got an idea that the defense is just going to be absolutely physical. Um, press corners, pass rush, maybe not a lot of blitz, but a lot of stunts, twists, and stuff like that happening, and just violence on the defense, just violence. And it's more about execution when it comes to the defense rather than what the scheme is going to look like. But on the offensive side, it's more about, what that scheme is going to look like. But that's it, man. Let me see if there's any questions. If not, we're gonna close this thing out. And again, I appreciate the love and support, everybody, joining the unscheduled late night Giants talk, the family reunion that is the nickname of the late night Giants talk too. I'm not gonna talk about Step Diggs settlement. That's crazy. Our name says Scat 1,200 yards. I think we're gonna have two all-purpose 1,000-yard backs this year. Some people laugh at me. Some people say I'm crazy. Some people think I'm spot on when it comes to that. But I do believe that Tyrone Tracy can have 1,000 all-purpose yards, and I do think that Cam Scatterbull can have 1,000 all-purpose yards. And when you really think about 1,000 all-purpose yards, like almost 80% of the NFL starting running backs have that 1,000 all-purpose yards. And again, it's 1,000 yards at the end of the day, rushing and receiving. It's not as much as people think. C. Rob says, I can't wait to see a violent. Yeah, me neither. Soul Glow says, well, that shaky secondary is something to talk about. You know what? Scheme. That's all I got to say when it comes to the secondary. It's a big question mark. You're absolutely right. It's a big question mark. I won't call it shaky, but it's a question mark. You signed press corners. You drafted press corners, and you ran a zone non-press off-man defense last year. This year, you're playing to the strengths of your cornerbacks, and that should help. That should absolutely help. So yeah, but it all starts with stopping the run. That's all. That's where it starts. And if we can't stop the run, then we in for a long ass season. Dealer says my thumbs are going to end up locking up, going back and forth with everyone on. Yeah, listen, man, you get into the back and forth, it's dangerous. I'm gonna do you a favor in the stream soon though, so you ain't gotta worry about it. Tom says, T-Tom says, Dash, great show for real. And I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it. Again, make sure you guys tune in Saturday night for the training camp preview. We're gonna talk about a lot of these same subjects, and it'll be more than just me on the screen, answering questions and going back and forth, man. Believe it or not, I know I can talk a lot, but I also enjoy being able to speak to other people live on camera as well. Obviously, I enjoy the chat. The chat is what keeps this thing going. You guys keep the content flowing, and hopefully you guys understand that and know that I'm appreciative of the people that are always in the comment section putting in their opinions and stuff like that. Tyrone Hall, that's enjoying the banter amongst fans. Let's go. Listen, at the end of the day, we family. We in here arguing, having debates, but also it's respectful at the end of the day too. That's all I ask for in the comment section, to keep it respectful, because at the end, we all want the best for the New York Giants. We're all fans of the New York Giants, and we all bleed blue. Blake, what's going on? You super late, man. I'm wrapping this thing up, Blake. I'm wrapping it up. Let me see if any more questions before I get out of here. No, that's it. I did get all the super chats too. Trisha K, what's going on? It says Dash year 2 for Dart is going to be big. Now I think so. I think so. A lot of people don't realize that Jackson Dart didn't get any kind of developmental coaching last year. You had coaches coaching for their job. You had Mike Kafka trying to prove that he can do a better job than Dable, and nobody really actually developed Jackson Dart last year. There was no development of Jackson Dart. They just put him out there and had him do what he does best: run around and make plays. RPOs galore, QB runs, design runs galore. Nothing that they did last year was out there really to help Jackson Dart. Now, he did get, snaps. He got NFL experience. But this year, they're actually teaching him and developing him and putting a plan together to make him better than what he is. And hopefully it takes. Hopefully it takes. All right, we're going to get, yep, facts. So, okay. C. Rob says, great show, Dash, New York Giants. Let's go. We're going to end it with that, man. We're gonna end it with that again. Appreciate everybody for hanging out tonight. Late night Giants talk. We're gonna do it again Saturday night. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation. Let's go.